Ooh, yeah. I was up a little late last night watching some fights. Sunday dinner time. Pot roast. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. See what we got. Costco. I'll go. My refrigerator freezes in that back corner a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. $5.29 a pound. Almost 7 pounds of chuck roast, choice grade. I'm like, that's a lot. Yeah, I have a lot of kids. I'll cook it all. I'm gonna get it in this pan and I'm gonna sear it. The fact that it's frozen on that corner makes it a little sad. Makes me sad. So I'm hoping to get a really good sear on this, but I don't think this is gonna fit in the pot, so I'm gonna cut it in half. But I cut this in half, and I think this other piece will fit right in there. Get this thing as hot as I possibly can, and I'm gonna add some of this Wagyu fat. If you saw my video last week, you'll see that I made, it was like that beef tallow video. Well, that was beef tallow I made a month ago. This is, I put it in jars this time. There's that one and then there's this one. And this one I didn't strain, but you know, all the like debris or whatever is just at the bottom, so yeah, now I got a lot of beef fat. Yeah. Alright, so this is what I'm gonna do. The pan's hot. I'm gonna grab some of this beef tallow and let's sear this up. Alright, so that's searing off. Get some of that Maillard reaction. Probably saying that wrong, but caramelize the amino acids in the meat. Make it taste better. And so at this point, I have a couple options. You know, obviously, they just put some red mint salt. I have some applewood smoked red mint salt, and then, but you know, if I was gonna, I'm like, what else would I do? Well, when I used to make pot roast back in the day, you know, I'd make it way more expensive. I'd use onions. Maybe a little bit of tomato paste. Let me flip this. Yeah, I didn't get a good crust on that one side of that one when I flipped it over, but the other side, way better. I'll put this other piece back in. These things are so heavy, it's hard to even hold them with the tongs. But when you have 8 kids, you got to make a lot of food. So I'm gonna salt it. Seemed like a lot of salt, but it's not. I'm gonna continue just searing each side of this. Probably fine right now, but keep searing it. And then I think I'm gonna actually add a couple things. So on my diet, I've been really trying to be like strict carnivore, except for on the weekends. And when I'm letting my hair down on the weekends a little bit by adding things like a little bit of granulated garlic. So, just a little. And then my secret weapon, which you can't buy at the store, is ground up mushroom powder. I used to grow oyster mushrooms in my garage, and then I'm gonna add some of this. It'll get like an earthy umami flavor. It's like 1 mushroom worth, but I'm trying to be a little less rigid. Hey, there's the lighting. Trying to be a little bit less rigid, because I'm almost a year on this carnivore diet, and I don't want to fail. Obviously, I want to continue to do a good job. But a little bit of seasoning is not going to hurt me. Hopefully, if you're doing an elimination diet, you got to be really careful adding stuff back in like this. But I've added it in, and I haven't really had problems. All right, so here's my next secret. I don't know if it's a secret. I had an idea because I had it. I'm gonna put 4 strips of bacon in here, and I guess it'd be smarter if I cut it up and put it in there. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this up and just put it in there. That's starting to smell really good. All right, so I can smell that the seasoning I put in there and the meat. It's like, yeah, a lot of caramelization going on. Before it goes too far, I'm gonna put in a mason jar full of water, so a quart. I guess I could have showed you that instead of just showing you my morning face. So I've had people say, you can just do this in a crock pot. Yep, I could do it in a crock pot. But I'm getting the sear, and the sear is a big deal. It'll add a lot of flavor. More than you think. So this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna get this up to temperature, and I'm gonna put this thing in the oven at like 300 degrees. Get that heating up. You hear that banging? That's my daughters jumping on their bed, which they're not supposed to do. I guess I could go up there and tell them to stop. I have started to, what is that? Stockholm Syndrome? See, if I went up there, they would have already been done. I'm beginning to identify with my captors, which is not nice to talk about your kids that way, but sometimes it feels like it. We actually, there's been illness going through our house, and so my family has not even been to church in 2 weeks. I think I took a couple kids 1 week, and then 4 kids last week, half of them last week, and then this week I think we might all go, but my wife's kind of sick. I'm thinking, I keep feeling like, am I getting sick? I don't know. Maybe a little bit, but yeah, maybe this carnivore diet is making me the healthy one. It's like, you don't look that healthy. I was like, well, I know. Just woke up, man. All right, that's up to a bowl. It's like 8:30, and we eat dinner about 6 o'clock, so that will be ready. Yeah, that's like 9.5 hours. Plenty. I'll put this in here at 300 if I could do it one-handed. All right, well, I guess now I'll go parent. Yeah, I shaved my beard a little lower than I typically do, and I'm like, oh, I still have hide that double chin. Come on, man, I'm almost 45 years old. All right, I'll see you guys later. All right, I'll see you later. Okay. Cheers. I'm back home from back home and just woke up from my post-church nap. How many steps did I get today? 2,800, so barely any steps, and that's perfect. My goal on Sunday is to get 0 steps. That's not true. I try to hit those 10,000 at least Monday through Friday, and then Saturday. I usually, depending on what I'm doing, I usually get there, but Sunday, yep, just rest. I'm gonna just pull this pot roast out. Let's look at it. Oh yeah. That is definitely done. I want to see how this broth tastes. Looks pretty oily. That's a lot of oil. I think I'm gonna try to get some of that oil off there. I was laying in bed just thinking, okay, well, I got pot roast for dinner. And that's fine for me, but is that enough for my wife and kids? And I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna taste this broth, and maybe I could turn this into an egg drop soup with pot roast. Yeah, fortified. I'm gonna get some of this oil off the top of it and then taste it. Why is it all red? Can't find my ladle. Yeah, so that's way more fat than I was expecting. But what do you think? That was big fat cutty fats of cutty meat, big fat cuts of meat with lots of fat. But that's just a little bit of that fat off there. There's still some more in there, but the broth is very salty, very flavorful. So I'm gonna be able to actually probably I can cut down that broth with some water for sure. Let me get a little bit more fat off this. Sometimes you just have to make a plan and then change it up. But yeah, I've been mostly feeding my kids and wife carnivore meals on Sundays. I haven't heard any complaints so far. I'm gonna double the amount of water that I put in there I'm putting the same amount of water that I put in there the first time. And there's still a little bit of fat left, but I think it'll cut in really nice. I'm gonna get rid of all the fat. Fat is fuel, baby. Stir this up a little bit without burning myself. Oh, yeah, that's good. I was afraid that it was gonna cut it. It might have cut down the flavor too much. Might need a little bit of salt now, but I'll just leave it at this, and then I'll come back to it when I'm ready to go for the egg drop part. And it's very simple. I mean, in theory, it's very simple. I've actually messed it up before somehow. I mean, you could still eat it, but it didn't flour up like I liked it. Put this back in the oven. I'm gonna actually drop it from 300 down to 225 because this is done. Actually, I'm gonna drop it all the way down to 170, just as low as it goes, and just let it rest there for a little bit. 412. Man, I got like another hour because it's not going to take long to do the rest of that. Maybe I'll take another nap. I mean, I'm not tired, but I guess I can. I'm wearing my glasses today because my contacts were messing with my eyeballs. Got a new shirt. Check this out. Size large. So I can show off my muscles. Yeah, I mean, I've actually had a fairly rough weekend, just mentally feeling depressed. Like, in my mind, there's like all these things I want to get done. Maybe not depressed is the right word, but at least down and not motivated, maybe depressed. I had like all these things in my head that I wanted to get done this weekend, just a whole list of them, but I didn't want to do them. I didn't feel like doing it. I think I'm a little burnt out. Just pushing myself in my workouts and making sure I hit all my goals, and then performing at work, and then, just normal life, stresses of life, and running a YouTube channel. And some days I put stuff on YouTube, it's like, well, this is crazy, all the support. Other times I put up stuff and it's like, wow, no one even watches these videos. Am I wasting my entire life? Which is, just human. It's human to wrestle with these things. But I was just reminded of why I started the carnivore diet. And it was because I wanted to stick around for my wife and kids. And so I'm doing that. I'm sticking around for my wife and my kids. And now there's some more benefits. Feeling in better shape, getting more stuff done. Just wanting to do more stuff most of the time is nice. But I immediately started having a real burden for these things, focusing on the keto chow over there. But started just having a burden for people that wanted to get in charge of their health also, because I've seen it work in my life, and now I know it can work in other people's lives. And some people care, some people don't. Probably depends on the day. We're all human. We all have just different mental challenges, or we're just at different places, have learned different things. And by the grace of God, I got to the place that with His help, He has helped me grow this far, getting in charge of my health. So it's good to remember that. And so I got the burden to help. And I just keep trying to tell myself, like, Aaron, how do I add value to people's lives? Like, how do I add value to people's lives on YouTube? And again, my kids are playing like Mario Kart and they can't help but scream at each other. These boys are crazy. But how do I add value to people's lives? I mean, diet's important. We have to eat. But as a Christian man, it's not as important to me as people's salvation or people having a relationship with God. So I try to, I also want to make sure that I say those types of things and let people know that God changed my life. And I think He's changed my life through this diet too. Which I bet there's the Christians out there that would argue with me just for arguing's sake, or, God didn't intend for us just to eat meat. I'm like, okay. Life is about more than just eating and drinking, and Jesus actually tells us not to worry about it. And it's like, well, don't worry about it. Aren't you worried about it? Aren't the people on this channel watching these videos worried about their health or what they eat or drink? Yeah, maybe. But I think the point is that we need to let God be in charge. It's not that we don't have to decide what we eat or drink and if we should or we shouldn't, but we don't have to do it alone. We don't have to be the ones that do that alone. We don't have to do it alone. So I don't have to do this alone. And so when I get down like this, I'm just remember that just how faithful God has been in my life, teaching me. I haven't really shared a lot of things, but I was a horrible person. Drugs and alcohol, in and out of jail until I was about 22 years old, 23, 24, maybe 24. So for the last 20 years, I've been a different person, working in outreach and ministry and stuff like that. But before that, I was lost, completely lost. And God has changed me so much. And He's changing me even more through this diet and just paying attention to what I eat and drink, but making sure that I'm relying on Him. And I don't think I do it all the time. Actually, I know I don't rely on Him all the time. I worry about it too much, and I don't let Him be Lord of it. And I don't like it. And I think that's what helps my burnout and helps some of my depression. Some of that is just me being hard on myself, because that's what we do. Often we're our own worst enemies and critics. I want someone to tell me they love me today. Which, it sounds weird to say, but we all do. And it's not just for women. I heard that once said, sure, a woman wants to hear that, likes to hear that you love them, but they want to hear it every day. The advice I got from a man is like, tell them every day. Don't just tell them and they know I love them. We all want to know that we're loved today. So I want you to know I love you today. And God loves you today. And your health and what you eat and what you put in your body is important to God. It's important to Him. And it needs to be important to you, but not so much that you're going to worry about it into a frenzy. The science and all these things are always changing. God's word will remain, and you will always remain faithful. Just some good reminders. Yeah, and my arm's falling off from holding this camera up. All right. Actually, that made me feel better just talking about it. Thank you. All right, we're getting close. Time to crack some eggs. Check out these bad boys. Well, farm fresh eggs. That I have a friend that comes to town every once in a while and gives us a bunch of eggs because they have a bunch of chickens, and that's awesome. These shells are a little fragile though, so hopefully I can do this without making a huge mess. And I'm gonna do a lot more eggs than normal just because I'm trying to fortify so there's enough food for everyone. So that, you know, I'm hungry. Also, if you have like a sensitivity to eggs or like egg whites, you could use just the egg yolks. That's an option. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out this pan, and then I'm gonna take out the roast, at least as much as I can, and just put it to the side, and then bring it to a boil, and then drop in the eggs. My thought process behind that is I don't want the meat to like just get all shredded when I stir it up. I'm gonna try to taste this again. I could smell that bacon quite a bit. I actually think that could use some more water. I'll do half quart, so like 2 cups. Crank that bad boy up and get it boiling. So my goal is to have like really good flavor, but I don't want it to be super heavy because the meat and the eggs itself is going to be heavy. So a lot of times I've noticed, like if I have a drop soup, like the broth isn't super heavy, and I think that's about perfect. Oh yeah, I just thought of something. Pork rinds. I bought some of these the other day. Like I usually don't buy these and eat them for myself because I'm not a big snacker. And I try that if I do have them, then I might snack, so I try not to. But I was like, I'll buy some and just have some for this weekend. But now, I think it might be good with the egg drop soup. Should I dip this in there? It's definitely boiling. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pour this in, swirl it around, and then, you know, it's boiling pretty good, but like stir it in there just a little bit at a time. And then I'm gonna immediately turn the heat off. The eggs don't need to be overly cooked. And this is where I gotta resist the urge to try it immediately. Because then you burn your face and then it's not that great. But yeah, this egg, it's mixed with bacon. I'm gonna take this off this burner. Oh, it's still way too hot. Yeah, definitely need some salt. Salt, salt, baby. Dun 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 dun. Salt, salt, baby. All right, let's put this pot roast back in there, and then I guess we'll have dinner a little early. I guarantee I'm gonna have at least one, if not multiple kids being like, "Oh, what is this?" I'll be like, "Really good food that you should thank me for. Maybe you should even start paying rent." All right, you saw it here first on the Kilby Life. Pot roast egg drop soup. I'm gonna try this, and I'm not gonna feel rushed by the camera recording to burn my mouth. Again, I know better, and then I still make mistakes. That was delicious. I think adding, yeah, that's just so good. And it's all carnivore except for that seasoning I put on the pot roast. But you can, you know, it's not 100% carnivore, but it's pretty close. And it look clean, but you could always omit that. Obviously, you don't have to put the bacon in there if you don't eat pork. So you could adjust it. And sometimes just like that, you come up with something, and omit the pork skins. But I think that crunch on there, put a little bit in there, put that in there for the nice texture and the crunch. This is going to be good. Gonna be good. Nice fall meal, even though it's, or winter meal, even though it's pretty warm these days here in Ohio. All right, let's disappoint the children with the food I made for them. I hear a lot of crunching from the pork skins.
No, the pig skins. Pork rinds.
Pork rinds, pig skins, chicharrones.
I like how they crackle when you get them wet.
Mm-hmm. It's like actual healthy Rice Krispies.
I wonder how they would taste this cereal.
Soggy.
That's true. It really would not be delicious.
Yeah, this is still pretty rich. Having these pork rinds kind of definitely really helps. I'm gonna throw some in there. All right, I'm biased. Honest opinion.
I like it. It is a little rich. It does have a little bit of fattiness to the broth.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not bad. That was not a complaint. You couldn't eat a lot of it, which is probably okay. But I like it. It's got really good flavor. And it's one of those things that, yeah, it's one of those things like it feels hearty. It feels healing. Like it feels like all of those good things. It's not just, like it's good tasting food that also feels like it's good for your body. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like it would taste better on a colder day.
Yes, but Ohio is weird, and who knows what the weather's going to be,
Yeah.
ever.
Apparently winter's over.
Billy is licking me, but Justin. Already?
I'm not sure if we're in fall spring or if we're in like real spring, but I'm not getting my hopes up. But I am
Well,
a
it can't be
little bit.
fall spring. There's flowers coming up.
That's true.
And then they're all gonna die.
I hope not.
All right, let's see where we're at. They've hit another little subscription stall.
It just goes to the bottom.
5,304.
Woohoo!
It was like 306, then 305, then 304, then 305, then 4, then 5, then 4, then 5, then 4, then 5, then 4. So we keep gaining them and losing them.
What if it's just the same person pressing the button over and over and over?
Yeah, so either that or someone's just pressing the button over.
I'm just gonna mess with you.
That's probably the one guy that dislikes everything. I get like most of our videos have one thumbs
I
down.
have some facts.
And I'm pretty sure I know who it is because they told me that they're just gonna stick around to see me fail.
You know, with those kind of friends. Goodness gracious.
Who needs enemies?
Who needs enemies?
Philby out.
Thank you, babe. Bye, friends.
Want to say bye?
Bye.
Hey, you want to say I love me?
I love me.
Not understand the assignment.
I love me. All right. See you next Sunday.